Okay, it's that time of year again. I got a fire going. Harley's sitting on the couch. And I finally got all the parts to bolt my Toyota transmission to my Volkswagen motor. So, yesterday was my first test fit, and I was going to try to get away without cutting out the braces in the floor. But unfortunately, I have to cut out the braces in the floor because the transmission makes the motor sit a lot lower, so the oil pan was hitting. So, I've now cut out the cross member. The cross member is the easy part. Now I will reinforce all that and I will weld in and gusset what needs to be gusseted for this. But the steering now sits a lot higher. Let's see if I can get a photo of that there. There's that, and then the steering. So the steering's got to be lowered by about 2 inches. Now I have not figured out how to do that yet. There's a couple different things I could do. I could actually go to a completely different rack and pinion, rack and pinion setup and get rid of the steering box setup, but I don't know if that's what I really want to do in this thing, but we will see. As of right now, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to heat up my two, my steering linkages and bend them down, just to get this motor in until I figure out what else to do. Maybe I can come up with some bracket to drop the steering arms and all that, but we'll see how it comes up later. But yeah, so now that's cut out. I'm just going to put this thing up on the hoist and go from there. The other problem I'm having is that this transmission is a lot wider than the Mazda transmission, so I'm actually going to have to widen the transmission tunnel. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do that by cutting and rechanneling the transmission tunnel, or just by using a hammer to stretch the transmission tunnel to where I want it to be. Alright, I'll keep you guys informed, but motor and transmission go great together. Can't wait to get it in. Okay, so we've done some work on this truck today, and I've used a hammer on the transmission tunnel to make the transmission fit no problem. But I've had some problems here with this, right there. It is the heating hose that comes into the cab to heat the defrost and all that. Now, it is in a very inconvenient location for me right now, and I need to find a way to either delete it or come out with a short 90 right off of the back of the block. So I'll be trying to look into that as much as possible. The other problem that we've ran into is I've actually put a smaller oil filter on this motor, but that's still too big. Because of how narrow the frame rails are, I'm going to try to look into a oil filter relocator kit tomorrow and see what I can come across for this thing. And hopefully just thread it in and have the oil filters located like here, or even up front in front of everything, so they're easy to get at. The reason why we need the smaller oil filter is because of this starter. Now, for me to bolt the Toyota starter on, I need the motor to go about, I would say, 2 inches to the driver's side. But the starter's not the concern, that is the big one. It is actually the slave cylinder that goes on the side of the transmission. I need it to go minimum 2 inches to driver's side to clear the slave. And I'd like the motor to go back as well. It would actually help the starter if it went back, because I got about, I'd say about 3.5 inches right there. And the transmission is actually about 5 inches away from being centered on the existing hole. So if the farther this goes back, the better it will be for me. So hopefully I can get this a good shove back and it will fit in there a little bit better. But the motor still has to come in and out a couple more times, just for fab work and cleaning and parts and motor mounts and all that fun stuff. But another step done, another day done on this thing. So I'm going to keep updating this thing as I go, but there you go. A little bit more progress on the 74 Ford Courier or Mazda B1800. Well, this will be a B1600 now because it's got a 1.6 in it. Take care, guys.